What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a new spot in my house today filming. Let me know what you think of the change of backdrop. Kind of like it. I just wanted to be more like in the natural light since we have a super gloomy snow day today. I figured it would be the perfect opportunity to talk about a buzzword that is all over the nutrition and fitness space. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my video. My name's Amanda, or Manders, and I am a certified health and nutrition coach with the Nutritional Therapy Association. I'm NTP certified, Precision Nutrition certified, and I've been coaching people with nutrition for the last 6.5 years. So I love nutrition. I love helping people, but what I love even more is educating people on certain topics that are really confusing, especially for beginners, and two, helping people better their relationship with food. So the reason that this video was sparked was because someone sent me this TikTok reel, whatever, and it was that trending sound that's like, this is a work of art, this is bullshit. And it was basically taking regular foods like meats and then comparing them with some vegan meat alternatives, and the person that retweeted this, reposted it, whatever, was basically saying that we need to stop consuming processed shit and that it's bad for you, it's so unhealthy, so on and so forth. And if you have been around on my channel for a while, you know that one of my biggest pet peeves in the nutrition industry is people fear-mongering people, especially those who do not have the education and certification to back up the claims that they're saying. It drives me crazy, and these key words like processed, all natural, artificial, organic, processed, non-processed, whatever. There's so many different things, but I wanted to make this video to kind of clear up what the term process means and whether or not you actually should cut out processed foods on your weight loss journey. If you're not in a weight loss journey and you're just simply watching this video to understand more about processed foods, I think processed foods get a really bad reputation because typically when someone is talking about processed foods, they're referring to really high sugar candy things like chips, traditional junk food items. That's what most people's brain automatically thinks of when they hear the term processed food. When it comes to the actual definition of processed food, it is any type of food, be it fresh, frozen, in a package, in a plastic box, plastic bag, whatever it may be, that is added some form of processing to the food to get from its originating point to the grocery store. Frozen blueberries, for example, are technically a processed food. Canned beans, the process of cooking the beans and processing them into a can, technically a processed food. There's a lot of misinformation when it comes to the term processed. Now, the frozen blueberry example is obviously a minimally processed food option, right? But that term refers to anything that's like removing any unwanted pesticides or taking something that's not frozen and putting it to frozen, taking something that's not canned, putting it to canned. So it's essentially being slightly altered, but not necessarily changing the nutritional content of the food itself. Now, I know that when most people are suggesting to eliminate processed foods from their diet, they're not typically referring to things like frozen fruits and vegetables or canned items or whatever, but I do really think it's important for you as the consumer or the client, the nutrition client, to understand what that term really means and why it can be just a form of fear-mongering from nutrition coaches. Obviously, what I'm sure these people are referring to are ultra-processed foods, which basically just means that they have additional things being put into the food, whether it's for taste, to preserve it. So think of things like emulsifiers, preservatives, color additives, thickening, sweeteners, all of that type of stuff. Now, whether or not that is considered healthy or unhealthy is a video and a debate for a whole other topic, because I really, and this is just, my own personal views on this, I think that what somebody constitutes as healthy or unhealthy is highly individualized for the person, and here's why. As a nutrition coach, or if you're not a nutrition coach, just think about the general public, you're also going to be dealing with people who have either suffered from an eating disorder or maybe are just learning about foods for the first time, and it can be really detrimental to their progress to start labeling things as good, bad, unhealthy, healthy, processed, unprocessed. You get the point. Instead, what I personally like to do and what I recommend doing as a nutrition coach, or if you are the client, this is what you should be looking for from your nutrition coach, is to help people understand how to read a nutrition label properly, and also if that is valuable enough to the client to decide whether or not they should include something in their diet or not. Another thing to consider about ultra processed foods are things like fortified foods, which which basically have additional micronutrients, vitamins, iron, fiber, magnesium, whatever, because they have either been lost through processing or they're just added to make that item seem more valuable because the item itself is lacking in that nutrient. Not always the case that ultra processed foods are inherently bad, and I don't like to use that term either, especially for nutrition clients. So when we're looking at our diet as a whole, a lot of times when people are trying to lose weight, they immediately want to go to cutting something out, whether it's an entire food group. In this example, I'm talking about processed foods, but this can be applicable for anything. So a lot of times you'll see this with people who want to do keto. They're basically trying to eliminate something altogether, and then they'll lose the weight initially, and they think that this diet works for them. But then obviously, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know I don't believe that those diets are sustainable, and I don't recommend you do them either if you are looking for true long-term sustainable weight loss. I did make a video on this a long time ago about fad diets and how they can be super confusing for people because they think that the diet is what's working, but it's actually the caloric deficit that's working. So just kind of to touch on that, because I think it's important to mention in this video since it kind of relates. When you're looking at cutting out ultra processed foods in this example, or just what you consider to be processed, a lot of those items are going to also be very high in carbs, sugar, fat, and lacking protein. What happens is when people cut out processed foods and replace them with not processed foods, I'm using this in quotations because I don't want you to think that all of those processed foods are bad, but when they're replacing it with more nutrient dense options, fresh fruits and vegetables, higher protein, building well-rounded meals, and they're losing weight, they think that it's because they're cutting out the processed foods, but what's actually happening is they're taking away a large majority of calories from things like carbs and fats and replacing it with protein, lower carb options, and lower fat options. And that, my friends, is how you lose weight. I don't care how many times you try to pick apart a diet. At the end of the day, a diet is intended to put you in a caloric deficit. When it comes down to energy expenditure, calories in versus calories out is the primary goal for weight loss. So if you are new, if you are a beginner, I encourage you to really not get sucked into the elimination diet of taking away all carbs, all fats, all sugars, all processed items. Really look at your diet as a whole and aim for the 80-20 rule, which means to incorporate a lot of whole nutrient dense items, high proteins, fresh fruits and vegetables, fiber, all of those things. But then the 20% should be things that you enjoy and you love eating, whether that's like your favorite cereal or ice cream or whatever it is that would be considered processed or high carb, high sugar. Because here's the thing, eating in a diet, meaning cutting things out, restriction, long term, it has been proven to not be beneficial for your metabolism long term. Nobody should be chronically dieting for the rest of their life. I don't know why you'd want to, but when you do these really intense elimination diets or you restrict for a long period of time, you're not providing your body with the ability to metabolize properly on its own. And what I mean by that is being in a chronic state of deprivation is really hard for your body long term. And there are effects on that. I'm not gonna go into all of the scientific stuff with that because I feel like that's going down a rabbit hole that most people are gonna get bored with and skip through, but hear me out. Balanced lifestyle is really what we should be aiming towards. Now, I will say this with a caveat because there are people who have medical conditions who need to be eating specific diets to either support this medical condition, help them function optimally, whatever that is, and that's a totally different thing. I'm really more so talking about the beginner client, the person who wants to lose weight, who thinks that cutting out all processed foods is going to be the key, or cutting out all carbs, cutting out all fats, whatever it is. I really would encourage you to not do that and instead widen your variety of foods, include whole nutrient dense items, higher protein, fresh fruits and vegetables, you see the theme here, and then still be able to enjoy those things that you love, ultra processed, in small amounts or in moderation. I feel like the people who have really struggled the most with keeping weight off for an extended period of time are people who have gone through this really intense cycle of restriction and then going back to eating normal. They lose the weight, they put the weight back on, they lose the weight, they go through a different diet, and it kind of just repeats over and over again. So a better alternative would be to educate yourself on how to read a nutrition label. If that's something that you'd be interested in, I think I had to put a little bit of time and effort into that video because I don't know how I'd go about that with teaching someone how to read a nutrition label. But that could be another video for another day. So let me know what you think about this processed diet fad that seems to be going on right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you have any other questions. As always, you already know, hit the thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see you on Monday and Thursdays.